Today I'm going to show you how to look like this. And by this I mean some masculine makeup. Some masculine contouring, just, basic makeup to make yourself look masculine. Alright, so we're going to start with moisturizer and primer on, but whatever. And then move on to foundation. I use Fit Me foundation in 110, but obviously it has a problem with the shade names. 110 is not the same across both formulas. But I mix the two, and I'm just going to apply that with a damp beauty blender all over my face to, hide any redness. Because we don't want super perfect skin, but you also don't want to look like you're blushing all the time. And female complexions tend to have more redness to their skin tone than male complexions, so you just want to hide all that. You don't need a super full coverage foundation though, and in fact it's probably better not to use super full coverage in this case. Now I'm going to use a Kat Von D concealer. It doesn't matter so long as it's light enough for you to highlight with. And we're just going to take that across the cheekbones, down the jawline, across the temple and forehead, above the brow to make that brow bone a little bit stronger, and on the other side, down the bridge of your nose, and on your chin. And we're going to use this to highlight because we're basically changing the illusion of your bone structure. You guys tend to have square cheekbones and stronger brows and a wider nose. So we're going to do that with highlighting. Make sure you blend the shit out of that because it's not gonna look right. And we're gonna, the term is bake, but we're gonna set that with powder. Make sure you only set the concealer at this point with a damp beauty blender and just some setting powder. My favorite is oat-based baby powder. Then we're gonna move on to contouring. We're gonna contour using, I like to use an ashy brown tone, cool tone brown, but you could also use a warm tone brown if you are not as pale as the dark side of the moon. So we're going to contour our cheeks in a kind of L shape, then our temples and our jaw, both underneath and behind our jaw. And we're going to contour our forehead because guys have this weird, thing that goes up from the brow. And then we're going to take some more loose setting powder and just blend the crap out of all of that because it will make it look so much better. And then we're going to contour our nose using a smaller brush and a lighter powder, but still keeping it pretty cool toned. And we're going to not swim down the nose like you normally would. So we're going to take it very much only on the side of the nose and underneath the brow and in the inner corner of the eye, because you want your nose to look bigger and stronger. Then we're going to move on to the eyes, contouring the eyes using the same powder as we contoured our nose with. I use just some cool tone brown eyeshadow on a little brush, doesn't matter really. And you're going to just kind of put that on the inner and outer corners of your eyes, leaving the middle pretty bare, and then up through the crease and up towards the brow. Because guys have smaller brows and less room between their brows and their eyes, so we're gonna kind of contour that in and hide up all of that paleness until you're happy with it. Then we're gonna take a brown eyeliner and put it on your waterline because guys have smaller eyes, so if you put a dark color on your waterline, it will give you the appearance of smaller, more closed eyes, and that'll help a lot. But don't use black unless you're going for the punk look. Brown is a much more natural look, and it will make it look like you're not wearing makeup more than a black will. Just gonna get the crap out of my eyelashes, and blend a little bit more, and repeat on the other side, and then we're gonna move on to brows. And we're gonna take a little brush and get it wet. That's how I like to do my brows. You can do your brows however you want, and just using a powder that pretty well matches your hair color. We're going to first underline and then extend the tail a little bit Don't extend it past the corner of your eye too much, but just work on making your brows thicker. And if your brows naturally go down a little bit in the front, you're going to fill in the top of your brows. If your brows don't, you can fill in underneath your brows. And then also make sure to bring your brows a little bit further in on your nose because they will look much better. Then we're going to move on to skin again, because guys do not have perfect skins. We're going to take a stippling sponge and a really light brown, and we're going to do some like freckles. They're not quite freckles, and they're not as, you know, pronounced as most freckles would be, but we're going to do some freckles just to break up that perfect skin that we got from foundation, because most guys do not have perfect skin, and they do not have super smooth skin. Then we're going to move on to lips, because your lips are too pink as a female, usually, and they're a little bit the wrong shape, so we're going to take the really light cool tone brown and contour the lips a little bit, extending your lip line past the corners of your mouth. And then we're going to take a concealer. I use 3 different ones first, but we're going to basically just block out the pinkness of your lips, because guys do not have as pink of lips as girls do. And this is going to look a little bit crazy at first, but the minute you start talking and, you know, eating anything or doing anything, existing, it will tone itself down and you'll be fine. I like to use a concealer that matches me pretty well to block out the color, and then I use a little bit of a darker one to give it a more appropriate color for lips. Because guys' lips aren't the same color as their face. They are a different color, but they're just not pink. I'm going to set all of that first. And then we've got one more step after you dry off your face, which takes forever. Make some faces, see how you like it. Oh, I guess we've got 2. So we're going to contour our neck, because guys' necks are typically a little bit more pronounced. You can totally skip this step, but I decided to do it today apparently. I'm just going to use the same light contour that we've been using for our eyes and our nose. You can find your Adam's apple by feeling around on your neck, and then contour a little U directly under that if you want. That is totally optional. A lot of guys' Adam's apples don't show, but depending on, you know, how much yours shows, you can contour it out. Then we're going to take another like slightly orangier powder on a wet eyebrow brush, and we're going to like dig into that a little bit and then speckle it all over our face with just dragging your thumb over your brush. It'll splatter, and that is the end. So I hope you maybe learned something from that. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it was just me sitting here rambling about it. Anyway, I thought I'd film this because I have a lot of people asking me about how I do my masculine makeup. So I guess this is basically how I do my masculine makeup. I'll film a beard tutorial another time and post that separately, and you can combine the two in any way you want. And that'll definitely make you look a bit more masculine.